For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
But Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of a toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world? Welcome to episode 20 of the Bernie and Ewok podcast. I am Justin Granz, and with me as always,
Chuck Fisher.
And
Dan.
Hey guys, welcome. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, we're back on a 3-week streak now, so we got our mojo back. I think we're rolling. As tired as I am today and yesterday. Oh my god. Yeah, this old man stuff is not fun.
Yeah, I don't know. This working.
I like aged another week this week. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
So I just want to say something real quick. I was kind of bummed about James Earl Jones passing. And I know the man lived a very long, full life, but it's for selfish reasons. Because I really hope Disney caught him and kept him in a box for a few weeks and just had him read dictionaries. And just recorded every bit of dialogue possible so Darth Vader can live forever. Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did it, but I really hope they did.
I don't even think you would need that, because with AI and stuff, I think you can just take samples, and we have
probably
thousands of samples of him, so yeah, you could easily recreate him. But even then, the AI still isn't quite perfect. Like, some of them you can definitely tell is a little off.
Well, and I'm pretty sure he's the type of guy that would want that character to live on forever, and definitely said, yeah, give it to my family. Yeah, just pay him some bucks every time Darth Vader talks, and there we go.
You know, that's something I actually have a question on. I've never really understood why. Like, there are people out there who can nail, impressions of some of these voices, and I wonder why they don't search for people like that. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes they'll have somebody. Well, for example, Kermit is voiced by, I think, Jim Henson's brother, right?
His son.
Yeah. And it's not quite exact. It's close.
It's pretty good, though. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm not saying it's not, but I could tell.
Yeah, but you know what? No. And I think Kermit, having that closeness there, it's pretty good. James Earl Jones, though, that voice is different. Nothing has sounded like James Earl Jones ever. I can't. I mean, yeah. At some point, I'm sure somebody's going to have the throat genetics to make those sounds also, but pretty unique, man.
The breathing sounds were that was added. That wasn't.
Yeah,
part
that's
of
Ben Burtt. Yeah, that's Ben Burtt. I got that, Chuck. Yeah, poor guy. He did all that, and he just had asthma the whole time he read those lines. Just
oh
and he
my
just kept
God.
talking. Yeah,
they took his inhaler away. All right, I'll go in there and record.
That's something that reminds me of just a weird Star Wars thought. Anytime I'd when I'm little and I'm watching Star Wars, one of the old movies, and when he talks, his voice is over the breathing. So the breathing's still going while he's talking.
Yeah.
So it's and I was ooh, how does that work? He's got this thing pumping, air in and out of his lungs, going through this device on his body, and he just talks while it's breathing. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when Christopher Reeves was after he was injured, he could only speak when breathing out, and the machines breathed for him. So there were pauses in his conversation.
So he had to get a Darth Vader suit.
Yeah, he would have to get a Darth Vader suit.
Ironic.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit ironic.
Gets a little dark there, too, thinking about Christopher Reeve. You got Superman. Well, there's that documentary of him coming out.
I was just going to bring that up because I saw a blurb about it today about, there are a couple people pimping it as, one of the best documentaries they'd ever seen.
It's supposed to be really good.
Oh, wow, really?
I've heard really good things about
it. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's the kind that it looks like a tearjerker, though. I'll turn into a blubbery baby watching that one. Yeah, I have a real soft spot for the early Donner Superman movies.
Yeah, it's super slash man, the Christopher Reeve story, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be, that's going to be a tough watch for sure.
Yeah, I never heard anything bad ever about that dude. So, hoping that's the case.
I mean, it's just a freak accident too. That's the thing. It can happen to any of us at any time. I mean, not necessarily us. We don't play polo or whatever, but
it was like a show horse, right?
Yeah, he was jumping.
Was it? I thought he was playing polo.
No, I think he was actually doing dressage, and he got thrown. And I mean, my wife used to do that stuff, and then she started doing it again when after we got married. And I'm like, I just every time I'm like, yeah, Superman got destroyed by this. So it made me nervous.
It's one thing to have a cat, a cat isn't gonna, crush you, but a horse, jeez.
Where'd the cat come from?
I'm just saying, you have animals in your life. Yeah. The risk with a cat.
No. So you go to the stable. So I go to the stable and I'm just, I've been around horses my whole life, and I'm just like, dude, it's a big freaking animal.
Oh man.
And it's I don't want to get anywhere near its legs. I don't want it kicking me. I don't want to even front or back. Either way, I'll stay to the side and be ready to move if that thing goes. My wife just walks right up, hops on the horse, takes off, hops down, pats it on the nose, gives a little kiss, loves it. I don't know. I'm like, nope,
They're really intelligent, and they're very emotional. They get very attached to their riders that treat them well. So, I think you see people, they live a long time. So, you'll see people with the same horse for 30, 40 years, right?
And they'll smell fear.
Oh, absolutely. But also, they don't put up with crap. If they're tired, or if they're if they've been, worked hard, they're not gonna, they're gonna fight you.
Well, and I'm just dude dropping wife off and then gonna watch her do her thing, and this horse don't know me.
Nope.
This horse don't care about me. This horse is gonna kick me in the head and make me look all cross-eyed and stupid. That's all I'm thinking. I'm I'm gonna get hit by this horse, and it's gonna be the dumbest thing ever. I'm gonna be I'm in a wheelchair in a vegetative state because of a horse kicking me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
dude, it happened all the time.
I know. So I know this is a thing. So more power to people that can, control those beasts though. And
is this have we jumped the shark? Is this the horse episode?
No, we're not.
We're jumping the horse
episode. We're just talking about horses. We got something against horses.
Yeah, it's just we're just
Fonzie jumped a shark, not a horse. Now, if he would have ridden a horse over the shark, maybe that would have been better. I have to say this. I do watch a YouTube guy who he's on a farm or something. I see these shorts all the time. This guy's messing with this bull, and I would not mess with the bull. I would not.
Because you get the horns. Yeah.
Little bitches. Oh my god. I walked right into that one.
Yeah, you did.
Oh man. That was too good.
So I know, Dan, you're catching up on Murders in the Building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about season 2 right now?
Very good. Very good. There's a couple characters, there are so many freaking characters, right? And then they start calling them back from season 1 too, which is hilarious. So no, I think it's really good so far. I think I got one episode left in season 2. So I'm pretty sure I'll go through season 3 pretty quick.
Yeah,
But
season three,
yeah.
like the more like I think I said last week, I said it might be my least favorite season. And I'm
Mhm.
not so sure I agree with myself on that, just kind of thinking about it, because it is the Paul Rudd season. So, and there's a lot to like about that. And but season 4, I'm all caught up. I don't know if you watched the third one yet, Chuck, but
Yeah, I did. I've watched.
um, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a little like I don't know. There's like a lot going on. I'm not so sure I like the the characters playing the characters like so much. But by the end of the episode, it had me. I was like, yeah, okay, I love the show. And this is like, to me, this is like the perfect replacement for Ted Lasso on keeping my life happy and sane.
Oh yeah.
So we're like
Oh
Ted
yeah.
Lasso was like
Yeah.
this like bright light
Yep.
in a dark time, and
Mhm.
COVID and all this other stuff. And
Oh.
now, having this super happy show right now, I just loving it. That and Shadows, what we do in the Shadows, I'm still catching up on because I gotta be ready for the last season because, man, again, that show I was in tears this week with that one. Funniest
It is.
episodes yet.
It is
It just
consistent.
no, I think
Consistent.
it is a straight line on the graph going up. Like every episode just like kicks it up another notch. It like starts like okay, and yeah, really really funny stuff. So I don't know if you've seen a lot of season 3. Did you get to the Vampire Nightclub?
I don't think I.
Okay,
Maybe.
that doesn't ruin
I don't
anything.
know, man.
Yeah.
Me and Parker watched like tons of episodes like over the course of 2 days.
Well, did you see what happened
so
to the? Do you remember what happened to the energy vampire
No.
on his 100th birthday? You
No,
never
I
got to
don't
that.
remember. Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't get to that.
nah, I can't say anything. I can't
All
say
right.
anything.
Well, because you're like there's 6 seasons. I may have watched like
There
a
will be
season
6,
and a
yeah.
half.
So there's 5 out now.
So-
The 6th season starts
Yeah,
next
I've not
month.
watched all 5 seasons.
Okay.
I can guarantee that.
All right. Anyway,
I will have to go back and watch it.
Back to because I got some questions for Dan.
Murders.
So,
Okay.
murders. Martin Short. What do you think?
He's less Martin Shorty. He's less Marty in this season for sure, right? So it's
Yeah, he's
so
good
far
in it.
things-
He plays a part that's very vital to the show. I think he doesn't. It doesn't annoy. And you know what's so funny? I talked to my parents this weekend, and that was their exact same thing too. But they don't like Steve Martin either, which blows my mind. I'm like, my parents do not like Steve Martin or Martin Short, so they could not get through the first season.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So first off, let's talk Martin Short for a little bit, right? So I really, when he goes over the top, it's the part that me and probably your parents hate the most, right? When he gets so.
Oh, even me, I get a little annoyed. Like the Ed Grimley stuff. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as his voice goes high pitched and he starts getting really animated, it's like, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, no, don't do that.
Zap him with like he's like an electric shock collar or something and snap him. But no, he's really good. I really did. I like the the glimpses back to his character in like the 70s and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. No, I thought they did well. Selena Gomez was really good. So Steve Martin, right? I understand where your parents are coming from because I think there are times where it's like, how much Steve Martin can you take if he's doing Steve Martin over and over and over again, and a lot of his roles are very similar
Yes.
type of acting.
I think it comes from where he hit his mass popularity in the 80s.
Yeah.
He was very much Jim Carrey or Will Ferrell type of an actor, which my parents both love them. Like they love them, but he was, he was the jerk, the man with two brains, and he had these absurd roles that he had played, where which I look back and I watch them, I think they're pretty funny, but I could see like, at the time, you get a bad taste in your mouth. But then I was like, wait a minute. What about like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
And so I remember watching that with him. So certain movies, I think, and a lot of them were the later ones, and I think he's gotten better with age. I think he's somebody who a lot wilder in his youth, a little crazier, wild and crazy guys.
Yeah, right.
Saturday
For
Night Live.
sure.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I
but
think okay, but I
like
also think the
Parenthood on,
comedy.
I think he's really like better, like smarter, more intelligent humor. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I guess it's even before that.
Yeah.
So, like from that point on, yeah.
Just put it in just to set expectations right. I hated and I still hate Roxanne. I
What?
hate that movie.
What are you talking
I love
about?
that movie. I do not like it. I think it's a dumb movie.
Wow.
So, man,
That's like his pinnacle, I think.
is it? Do you think so? No, I think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
I think it's like peak.
I think Planes,
Steve Martin.
Trains, and Automobiles is a good movie, but I think Roxanne by far is a superior film.
It's not my cup of tea. I do not like it.
I remember seeing that in the theater. Who's the female lead in that?
It's what's her name? Isn't it from the blonde curly hair?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name.
Daryl
Hannah.
Is it Daryl Hannah?
Yeah,
wow.
So. Yeah.
All right, that's not. They're probably not too far off in age.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me too much. Okay.
Yeah. I think his best. Bowfinger is amazing. And Father of the Bride. I'm looking through his. There's so many things. L.A. Story. I really liked L.A. Story. And I did not like Roxanne. Maybe I couldn't get past the nose.
Yeah, the nose is kind of dumb looking and everything. Maybe that was it. Because I remember not wanting to see it when I was a kid. I can't really remember what my opinion was. I thought it was fine. Like, I don't think I saw it in the theater. I remember my grandmother took me.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's the one, she took me to everything. Like, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels also, I remember her laughing hysterically during Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
So funny. Yeah.
Like that's a movie that reminds me of my grandmother laughing, and I love it. And so I got that, that's like a little bias there also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, I think he's really talented. Like his bluesgrass, folksy music stuff with his banjo and everything is pretty cool that he does that. But yeah, no, Three Amigos, obviously a classic movie. But all right, so let's talk more murders in the building. Selena Gomez, really, really good. I don't really care so much for who's it, Cara Delevingne or whatever her name is, who plays Selena Gomez's kind of like love interest in the series, the art lady, right? Which I'm sure there's something that happens in the last episode that I haven't quite gotten to.
Yeah, I'm not
yet.
gonna spoil anything, but I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
you know what? Maybe thinking of it, maybe season 2 was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Like kind of going. Maybe 3 was better.
What's that really like that sci-fi movie she was in?
Selena Gomez?
No, Cara Delevingne.
Oh, that was
what was I'm talking about?
Like a sequel to it wasn't a sequel, but it was similar to The Fifth Element.
Yeah, very similar. Where it's like her and she's one of the two leads, and they got to go save the universe. Yeah.
Is it like was that one of the Wachowski movies, or was it?
It was Valerian.
No, Valerian. That's the one with the guy who did
City of a Thousand Planets.
Yeah, and that's with the Fifth Element director made that, right? Luke Besson.
And I don't hate that movie. I mean,
that was her. I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, that's her. And I don't hate the movie or anything. She was just kind of okay in it, but yeah, I mean, I just don't care for her too much. But I liked the story. I liked the story arc so far. It kind of gives another element to Selena Gomez's character, right? Love all the Mabel scenes are awesome. The bird's freaking awesome. Yeah. So, anyways, I really like it and enjoying it so far.
Did you? Okay, so you had the scene, which is one of my favorite scenes from the show, with Steve Martin's character, Charlie's daughter, and because they bring in Mabel and hey, can you talk to her because you'll understand what she's talking about? She's like, yeah, I got this, and she has no idea what the daughter's saying. Yeah. So good, such a good scene. Yeah, one of my favorite parts of the whole show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm gonna keep watching that. I'm loving it. And what are you gonna say, Chuck?
What are your thoughts on the painting? Big fan of the painting.
Is that a shadow?
I like almost fell off the couch when he's for that line.
Yeah,
That felt like old school Steve Martin to me. That line.
No, it's really good. And I think I kind of like how they brought back the two guys from season one and kind of explored what happened to them and kind of coming with terms to that and everything. So
yeah,
good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm glad I dug back into it.
So as soon as we recorded last week, Chuck and I had decided this was the last season that they're in right now. Well, the day after I put out the podcast, they announced that there is another season that they're going to make.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So officially there's going to be one more season at least.
Good.
So I'm not calling it the last because who knows.
Hoping Conan O'Brien shows up on an episode. I don't know, I'm just making that up.
Well, I mean, with everybody else that's been on there, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I haven't seen the season 3 but I've seen clips of it, right? So they do bring in a lot of star power. So it'd be interesting to see who else gets on there.
Yeah, you'll see a lot.
It's good. It's good
there's
stuff.
There's some good cameos, and it's not something I want to ruin for you. I think just when they pop up on the screen, you're like, oh god, because these guys they must be fun to work with, because the fact that they can get all these incredibly great actors and actresses just to come in, even for like a 15-second scene.
Is Hulu NBC affiliated?
Hulu is ABC.
ABC. I thought NBC had a stake in it at some point, right? So I wasn't sure, just because there's a lot of 30 Rock people who are affiliated with NBC in the show, so I don't know. And I know that's kind of like a incestuous relationship when production companies cross over, they make a pilot and it gets picked up, starts in one studio and goes to another, and so they have to have cross studio agreements all the time. But I figure there's probably a lot of the cameos are probably oh, hey, this person's on our has a contract with us, can you get them in to kind of cross promote, so
it's possible, but I also think they're friends. For example, the what's her name, the one from 30 Rock, Tina Fey. I'm fairly certain Tina Fey and Steve Martin are friends.
Oh, gotta be.
I'm almost positive of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Without a doubt, yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Cool.
That's why I'm shocked Bill Hader hasn't been on the show, because I know he's friends with both Steve Martin and Martin Short. So
we got another season coming.
I know.
Yeah. So Chuck, you let's segue a little bit. You were talking about something about some kid movies, and you had some thoughts on the Minecraft trailer that we talked a little bit about last week. Just wanted to expound on that.
I was a little surprised there was a lot of negative. I didn't personally take it negatively. Dan's son said, you don't have to really check out the trailer. It looks dumb. And I guess a lot of people kind of felt the same way. And I was listening to something, and they were talking about types of kids' movies. And some of the movies are, for example, like the movie Goonies, I would think. There's some more adult stuff in there, like scary stuff, there's mystery, that sort of thing that kids...
Statue that gets its thingy knocked off.
Kids... I mean, there's still your kid humor, your farts and stuff, but there's still more there's a little more thought-provoking stuff going on. Yeah, I mean you can do that all day with that movie. But what I'm saying is this. I was listening to a lady. I don't even know who she was, but she was just saying that there's like two different kinds of movies for kids, and it's like Disney will have to have a movie that has like some serious, topics, and then you'll have these other movies that are just like somebody jangling keys in front of a toddler. Like you're not going to take what movies are you going to take into your adulthood with you?
So
like
Disney movies always have the same theme. And there's only one theme to Disney kid movies. There's only one. Which
okay,
is a single parent with a child that has to overcome the loss of a dad or a mom and find their own way into the world. That is like almost every single Disney movie can be distilled down to that.
have you seen Tron?
Same thing, right? Dad
Is it
gets lost as a single parent now, and it's the kid's got to go find his way in the world.
Oh, that's a sequel.
Come on, it's the same
That's
thing.
a sequel.
Every
Not the
single
sequel
Disney movie.
sucks.
Yeah,
What about the black hole? Now do the black hole.
see, I was thinking of the black hole. That's a pretty
I haven't seen
dark
that one, so
film.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
It should be called-
There's a lot of that. I mean, the Freaky Fridays, everything, like all, I mean, what about
Well,
the
look,
cat?
every animated Disney movie.
I can't remember what the Cat from Outer Space, like what the main theme of it was, or Escape from Witch Mountain. But I'll tell you what, the Apple Dumpling Gang, definitely not.
Well, the question
Maybe
was,
Rides Again, but not the first one.
All right, all the more recent.
I got you.
We were born.
Okay, so like I was gonna say, like where you were going, Chuck. Like there's like a time in everybody's life where you turn into a teenager and you're like, well, I don't want to see I don't want to see a kid movie anymore. I want to see Predator, or Terminator, or whatever cool movies out there. And then you kind of move on from there. And but what happened in the 90s was Pixar came around. And they're like, hey, we got this cool thing called Toy Story, which sounds like the most kiddie movie ever made. And you go and see that, and it did not matter what age you were, that movie hits you. Yeah. And so there was like a good 20-year period where everything Pixar did was pretty much magic. Like, it was everything. I think, not so much more recently, where it's like it's not like everyone I have to see. They still put out some good stuff though, but I think all these other movie studios figured out, like in the last 10 to 20 years, like, oh, what's Pixar doing that hits, So when it comes to like a kids movie, you're going to get usually something like How to Train Your Dragon is not a Disney movie. And I think that movie does a great job. I think the first, I don't know about all the Kung Fu Pandas, but Kung Fu Pandas does a really good job doing that thing where kids and adults can both enjoy this movie. And like walk out and go.
For that, right? DreamWorks, right, is a huge Disney connection.
Yeah.
It does. Spielberg and who's the third, right?
Geffen.
So, Geffen, right?
Yeah.
You got Spielberg's like always been the master at bridging gaps between kind of like age groups. I think, then some of his stuff is more adult, but a lot of his stuff is that, tween person or somebody who never grew up, like Indiana Jones, right? And just relating it to multiple, groups of demographics, if you will, right? And just kind of
absolutely.
How do I tie kids and grown-ups together through kids going and exploring the worlds, and then parents remembering what it was like to explore the world, right? So I think he does it really well. And then you get Katzenberg, who led Disney animation studios for years, and really brought that to the table. So I think DreamWorks hitting it so hard, Shrek. How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda. I mean, they've had so many big animation hits. Does a great job at that, right?
Yeah, my daughter's favorite movies are the How to Train Your Dragon movies. She loves them,
and she will love them forever, more than likely. Yeah. Like those are ones that she'll take into adulthood and probably still watch.
Yes,
she'll
exactly.
watch if she's got kids, she'll show her kids, and she'll pass that on, that type of thing. Yeah, yeah. So go ahead.
with this Minecraft movie, they're relating it to like the Jumanji films because it seems like a low budget or a copy of the Jumanji films. I only ever saw the first Jumanji, the one with Jack Black and The Rock in it.
That's not the first one.
No, I know. I've
remake.
seen the other. Like I saw the original Jumanji.
Oh, okay.
But like I'm saying, like the ones that I guess the modern take.
They're great. They do a fantastic job. They're fun movies. You got guys that are very charismatic in it. I don't think it's necessarily highbrow, but they do a good job of bridging those gaps again. I don't know who made the new ones, but none of them are low. But I don't think the original one was low budget either, was it?
No, the first one is definitely not low budget. No,
really early.
That was
CGI
like one of the big CGI movies from the '90s. Yeah, that was a heavy hitter.
I don't think
that was like Robin Williams at his peak.
Yeah. I don't think the new ones are low budget either.
I don't think the new ones are low budget.
No, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying like there's like a formula to it though. Like for example, 4 people get sucked into a video game and they have to solve their way out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tron.
Yeah, okay, but that's what I mean. People have already said, look, here's the script for the Minecraft movie. 4 people go in, they find this guy Steve that's been in there forever. He's gonna help them, or he's gonna tell them what to do. They're gonna screw up. And then, at the end, they're going to defeat the dragon, and they're going to go home, and it's going to, like, it's just, like, so formulaic.
Okay. Yeah, but if that's what that is, that's one thing. But there are other kids' movies that, and I'm going to use Toy Story, the first 3 Toy Story movies, as an example of, like, how to make a perfect non-formulaic movie. I mean, those each have individual stories. But they all encompass each other at the end and tell one giant story, yet, those themes hit hard, also very funny. I don't know how many of those we're talking about. Like, I don't know, like Shrek doesn't fit in that category. Shrek is a Mike Myers time capsule movie. It made billions of money, like all the money. It's funny. It did its thing, and then they just kept churning them out, and that was definitely a formula, and just a thing that printed money. And I guess they're doing another one now finally too. Mike Myers is finally coming out of his little cave and doing stuff again. But more recently, if we're going to talk about a family movie that hit, I'm going to say Lego Movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
As being the ultimate and not necessarily formulaic. When Lego Movie came out, everybody's like, what? Yeah, what are they even making a movie about? And like the whole, well, like, it's like, I don't necessarily think that was like put through like the formula, Turner. I mean, yeah, you could say it's got common themes with other movies for sure, but it was definitely something different.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I think people are complaining about, is because the problem is, like, how do you even touch Minecraft as a film? Because first of all, it's like an open world, and everybody does so many different things. Like, there are people who build, there are people who adventure, there are people who do all the redstone stuff with all the circuitry and all that stuff. There's so many different takes on the game. But people play modded, people play vanilla.
That's
it's
exactly
crazy.
what I can say about
how are
the
you
Lego
going to make
movie,
it?
though.
I know, and the Lego Movie pulled it off. I don't think, from what I've seen in the trailer, and from what I guess people have said, they don't feel like this movie is going to do it. They feel like, it's just a rehash of Jumanji, just in Minecraft.
Yeah, because like the Lego Movie like did the whole thing with like the creativity versus gluing it all together versus all the different things that people do with Legos, and there was all little bits and elements in there, to where the main character, I forgot the dude's name, Star-Lord, he makes a bunk bed thing that just absolute ridiculousness. It's like something I would make in Legos, because I'm not very good with Legos when it comes to like that kind of a thing. But if they could pull that off with Minecraft if they go that direction, and I would hope they would do something like that, like take all the things that people love about Minecraft and do something. Oh, go ahead.
Let me ask you this, right? So I didn't watch the trailer because I saw snippets of it, but the number one complaint that I see is the fact that the main characters aren't digitized into Minecraft characters. And for fans of Minecraft, it seems to be like a all stop, right? That's the number one thing I see people complain about. And I saw today there is a campaign on Reddit similar to Sonic the Hedgehog to
I was going to say Sonic, yeah.
Just do full stop and redo the movie with animated versions, blocky versions of the stars.
Over the weekend, there's probably been 100 of those made already of just the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched several of them, and I was like, yeah, maybe going animated would have been wiser. I don't know that for sure. I'm not.
They were successful with that with Sonic the Hedgehog because initial testing and the trailers for it, people were just like, "This looks like shit. You have to review this." And now it's like it's beloved, like a beloved cartoon, game movie.
At the time, though, it did look terrible, right? Like, I wasn't the only one that was like, "Eee." When I saw that trailer, I was like, "Whoa, Sonic's not looking that good."
Yeah, right.
So, okay. Just a couple comments because there's a little bit to unpack right there. I don't want to lose it. So, I'm gonna lose it. Sorry. No. Okay. You said Sonic. Mentioning Sonic and getting that whole groundswell of people to go because when that Sonic trailer hit, oh God. That was the worst possible thing. Now, that's going to segue me into, really quick, another incredibly good kid movie. And I hope you guys saw this. And if not, you guys have an assignment this week. You will love it. Did either of you watch Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers movie?
No.
Chip 'n Dale.
It came out 2 years ago. And it's by the Lonely Island guys. Andy Samberg and them. That's how you make it. I never watched Rescue Rangers. Never.
Me neither.
But the entire premise was I knew what they were because I knew Chip and Dale and I'd seen a million Chip and Dale cartoons, because I used to collect all the Disney cartoons, like the old shorts and everything. And so it's those characters are real, not people. They're real chipmunks that played in the show Rescue Rangers. They were actors and they had a big breakup in the early 90s and now they're coming back together. But they have to solve some crimes. Some real things are going down,
That's cool.
And it's incredibly funny. Laugh out loud, hysterical. And one of the characters that's in it is Ugly Sonic.
No way, really?
Just for the Ugly Sonic. Watch Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, guys. It's my recommendation of the week. You will not be disappointed. Watch it with your family. Watch it by yourself. I don't care. It's so awesome. It did not deserve to be as awesome. Dan, I saw when I mentioned it, you're like, no, I didn't watch that. Yeah. This is.
I heard it got good reviews.
No, it got great. It's next level. It should not have gone straight to. I think it was straight to Disney Plus. It should have gone to theaters.
Transformers animated movie on me now.
I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring up that movie because
we talking about the new one or the old one?
No, the old one.
Because it is the way original. My kids are talking about it is like how we talked about it back when it came out when we were kids. Is, oh, this looks awesome. They swear in this movie, Dad. They swear in this movie. I'm like, hey, this sounds like we've come full circle from when I was 12.
Okay, so your kids are talking about the new Transformers movie.
Yes, and it's the way they're talking about it is how we saw and talked about the original Transformers movie. I think I was 14, 15, and I remember feeling like I'm so dumb sitting in this movie theater watching a Transformers cartoon movie, and then I came out of it going, that was freaking awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. And at the end, you're trying not to cry because
no, that was half hour in, man. He dies quick.
Oh, does he? I never watched it. I wasn't into Transformers.
Well, I've got it on DVD. I've got it on DVD if you need it. I'll send it your way.
Cool. I'll just watch it on YouTube or something.
So is this Transformer movie going to do the same feels that ours? Because it is like the 80s Transformers. It's the first generation Transformers in this movie. I saw a trailer for it, and I did not want to watch it. So, but then I talked to somebody, and they're like, no. It's supposed to be awesome. They made this movie, they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
And then now you're telling me that your kids are all hyped for it. So now,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
I hate all the newer Transformer movies. I just think they're trash.
They're
like
horrible.
Next level trash. We
Terrible.
discussed that in the first 100 episodes of the Burning Ewok podcast.
Yeah,
You can maybe
absolutely.
find some archive.org of that somewhere.
Oh man.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf,
Okay.
is just a little.
All right,
That's the
so-
thing you hate about Shia LaBeouf is when you hate him is in those movies.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Shia LaBeouf. Like I felt bad for him in that first movie. All he did was fall down. Like literally, he fell down 100,000 times in that. But we've been over this. Anyway. So quick. So back to the kids thing.
Minecraft.
Well, the Minecraft thing. Okay. So now I'm seeing a trend that I'm not necessarily sure is a good trend, and that is, let's immediately jump down the throats of the people making the movie. Just seeing it, the trailer. We have no idea what that movie is. It could be completely different than what we think it. The trailer could be completely misleading. It could be like the first 30 seconds. How about that movie? There was a movie. I think Harrison Ford was in it. He was
Star
the
Wars.
president, and
Patriot Games.
Air Force One.
Air Force One. Air Force One. We all thought that was it Jean-Claude Van Damme? No, it wasn't Van Damme. It was the other guy. Steven Seagal was going to be in that movie because he was all over the trailers.
No,
he literally.
You're thinking
That was
of the
Executive
Decision.
Executive Decision.
Yeah, that's the Wesley Snipes movie.
Okay.
And they kill him hey everybody go. He was supposed to have a bigger role.
He was like the U.S. Air Marshal on the plane, right?
And he was supposed to actually get on there, but they killed him off because he was such an asshole. They didn't want to work with him anymore.
Any movie that kills off Steven Seagal early is a great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie just for that. But he was supposed to. I think Kurt Russell also in that, right?
Yeah, Kurt Russell. That was the one. That's what.
That's a good
I get those
movie.
mixed up.
I love that movie.
Wesley Snipes one, then. What's the Wesley Snipes one on
You're
the
thinking of
plane?
Passenger 47.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Always
We
Bet on
had
Black.
we had that series of time where every studio copied every studio as fast as they humanly could.
Yeah.
So everybody released a plane movie at like the same time.
We had Dante's Peak and Volcano come out, and then you had the asteroid movies like Deep Impact and Armageddon. Yeah.
So anyway, this trailer could be misleading. So you never know. Like I don't necessarily. With the Sonic thing, I agree. I think it was good to have pushback. But were we just seeing a placeholder at the time? Or was that really the model they were going to run with?
They went back and redid the whole movie. They weren't completely done with the movie. They weren't completely done with the movie, but they were far enough along that they had to go back and do a significant amount of retouches on it.
They had already done like press previews and test viewings, like test audiences, and like it got the lowest rating like from the test audiences, like the lowest ratings they've ever gotten from those.
Wow.
So they went back and redid. They waited like a whole year and a half and reshot it, reanimated.
It was like 6 months. They cranked through it. They blew through it and got it done.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was quick.
So you see, there's a lot of anger toward this movie, and there are other trailers too that I think have had similar negative feedback, and I'm not necessarily sure that's a good thing. Because eventually, my fear is that eventually studios will be like, I'm not touching anything with that IP.
Mm-hmm.
I won't put money into it because the fans are just too insane. That's my fear.
We talked about a little bit of this throughout the episodes. I think we've touched upon this with toxicity in fan bases. Sure, I think it's there. It's 100% there. This is where we are with the world, man, and sifting through all of it. Maybe it's a good Ugly Sonic was very ugly. That was objectively ugly. I don't know but the difference was I don't think anybody went and stormed their doors with pitchforks and wanted to send death threats like a lot of people do, whether it's Star Wars or I don't know how crazy Minecraft is, but for Star Wars. People got death threats, anytime anything comes out, and I don't think that happened with Sonic, but I think enough people laughed about it and made fun of it that they went, oh, we got a bomb on our hands. Nobody's going to see this. And so by redoing it was the right move there. But I mean, if somebody has an artistic vision that goes beyond just like one character design, I mean, that was just one character design that they fixed, and they did good on it. They did the right thing, but I don't know, like Minecraft, they decided to take the artistic direction in a different direction completely. Like if they're gonna make Jack Black and everybody else boxy looking, you got to redo the whole freaking movie probably at this point. I don't think that's not a quick one, and that's like another year or two. Yeah.
And again, I don't know that would appeal to audiences because the game is very. The first time I saw Minecraft, I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is all
ugly.
like blocky,
it's super
stupid.
It's the ugliest game ever made. It's ugly as hell.
Fine, I disagree.
It is so. It makes me want to vomit. It's so gross.
Okay,
I've lived in the game. Cubes.
Okay, I've been in the game now for 10 years, and I've seen a lot of amazing imaginative stuff, which makes me endears me to the blockiness of the game. But when you go into a theater where there's people who have no concept of what Minecraft is, you can't show them boxes. You have to show them something more.
I guess what the key is here is, what do the kids think? What do the little ones think? Do the little ones still want to see it? Or do they like, that's not Minecraft? Like if you've got an 8-year-old who's playing Minecraft every day and they watch that trailer and go, that looks dumb, now you know you have a problem. You know, but if they don't care and they're like, it is a Minecraft movie, I don't care, they could do anything. Ha ha ha, it's got the lambs in there and the sheep and the cats that meow constantly.
But see, that I think that's a cop-out. Because now you're saying, well, we're only making this movie for 8-year-olds and 6-year-olds.
Well, then it's a Minions movie and it makes $1 billion.
Oh, that's stupid then. Like, I fell asleep. I think I fell asleep during one of the Minion movies. It was so boring.
Well, okay. So I guess it's like, we could take the Lego thing and then we could flip it to the other side of a very successful franchise movie, which is Mario. So,
yeah,
the Super Mario Brothers. But what was awesome about it, it's a shell of a movie. It is like reference after reference after reference after reference. Huh?
It didn't absolutely suck.
No, it doesn't suck.
And I think that's what was great about it. And it was fun.
Super fun.
It was fun. That's all it was, right?
You walked out of that movie surprised, like, oh crap, that didn't suck. Like every other Mario movie that you've seen before that.
Everybody, I mean, we saw it like third week or something like that. So like everyone's, oh, it's great. I'm like, okay, it wasn't bad.
Also, there was that movie with Fred Savage where he played Super Mario 3.
He hasn't played, his brother plays it. It was the Wizard. They got the Power Glove in there, bitch. Get it right.
Okay. Anyway, wow.
Yeah, my grandmother took me to the Wizard as well.
I thought I pulled that out of my ass, and I didn't think you would know that movie.
Yeah, I know it. Shit. I know it. And in fact, like the game that they play at the end. Well, obviously it's Super Mario Brothers 3.
It was before it had been released.
And there was like a preview for it. So that entire movie was a commercial for Nintendo stuff. But those Nintendo Championships, they used to have those. And the most coveted game carts that you could get are those championship games, because it would have a whole bunch of like sections of games on them. And they're very rare and very very valuable. Anyway, the Mario Brothers. So yeah, it's like they got to do something different with the sequel. They've already hit like all the references and everything. They have to kind of come up with a better story, kind of move it along, and I think they will. It'll still be fun. But I mean, remember when Chris Pratt was cast as Mario, and everybody lost it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, everybody lost it, and then there was like, does Chris Pratt pull it off? And I thought he was fine. I was like, no problem with Chris Pratt's Mario. Yeah. No. Was that an issue for anybody? Like, I remember it being a huge issue though.
There was some. I think there was not because could he pull off the character. I think there was some off the screen issues that people were starting to have with Chris Pratt at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe
he like came close to hitting some. I forget what it was. He's the one. Is he the one married to Schwarzenegger's?
Yeah.
Kid, right? And there was something going on with him, some kind of like, was he like, there was something political, I want to say, with him, right?
I didn't know any about that. I just remember like thinking Mario had that high pitched squealy voice, and I just remember being like, "Oh, that's an interesting choice."
Mm-hmm.
I thought
I
he
mean,
pulled it off
yeah,
pretty good. And they actually
think he
had the
did.
original Mario does a voice in the game also. He's in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think it was because of some religious things and anti-LGBTQ stuff that he may or may not have alluded to in posts or something
Mm.
related to the church that he went to. But that all came out at the time that he was cast as Mario. So I mean, I don't know. You know, game game movies, right? I think we've talked about it in the past, right? Anything, you know, you're taking something that's coveted by a section of players, people who played, loved, grew up with it, whatever, came in,
Yeah.
obsessed with playing it and escaping the world they're in. And you got to either treat it like so well that you don't piss those people off, but also make it enticing and interesting enough so people who don't play the game most of them will probably never play the game and want to see it on a TV screen or a movie screen, right? So it's really difficult, I think, in a lot of instances to bridge those gaps. People that make games to be cinematic, I think those IPs are going to be more relevant to the movie screen and the stories, right? Games that focus on the stories. I think that's harder. I mean, I've never played a lot. I played a lot of Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario 2. After that, I don't think I played more than 2 or 3 hours of Mario after those two games ever.
Wow.
Except for Mario Kart. Right? I played a lot of Mario Kart, but there's not really much of a freaking story there. So, you know, it's. I think that's difficult for most people.
Well, I think to a degree, I agree with you that the more cinematic games will translate to film better.
Mhm.
However, like Justin had brought up before, the Lego movie. How do you make a movie out of Lego?
But
The
it's
same
not
thing
a
as
video game, right?
Or Barbie.
right. It's not. It's
okay.
not. And more people have probably access to Lego than Minecraft.
Well, I mean, Lego is about creating stories for most people, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what Minecraft is too, though.
yeah, especially for us when we were kids, and I think that's why it resonated so much with us, was we weren't hand-fed all of the different sets, the branded sets. We had like 3 kinds of sets. You had the space ones. You had the the what?
Castle.
The
The
Town
town.
and
You had the
Castle.
castle.
the Black Baron or whatever it is, right? And then did you guys have the Yellow Castle?
No, I was after
that was after me. I had
was
I
early.
had the Knight's
Before us.
Castle and the King's Castle.
It was the Yellow Castle was before us. It was like
Yep,
the
it was very
Was it?
early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was okay. Then I had the ones after that.
Yeah. So, but it's like you grew up creating stories, and then so to tell a story where a guy is creating stories, and then tying it back through all the different generations and the sets that came up afterwards, I think that was why it was original and worked so well. And Barbie was just a total other thing, right? I mean, like, girl power for the 2020s right there, and written so well.
And that's a movie that resonated with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's her favorite movie ever. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, because she loved Barbie growing up. This is her thing, and it hit all the right buttons for her, as well as it did for a lot of little kids.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you want, you can make a Kubert movie, or you're gonna make, Pac-Man movies have always failed. The TV shows were bad because there's no you're making a mountain out of a molehill, right? When you're trying to tell a story there, so you got to have some substance to create within. In like Toy Story, like you take Toy Story. How do you take all those toys and tell a story? Well, you're as a kid, you're telling stories, and it's not a movie about the toys. It's a movie about the kid transitioning in his transitioning is a hard word to use these days, but a
growing up,
right? And what does it mean to him in terms of his toys? Like, how do his toys see that as he grows up, right? So that's why those work. And so you take Fallout. you have a story and a background that's very engaging. It's very cinematic, and there's something there, so you can tell a story within the context of the video game story without the video game being center stage. The Last of Us. Saying Last of Us directly translated because I feel like, and I still haven't played the game, but I think I know enough about how it's played. It's a story game, right?
Yes.
It's an adventure game in the mold of the old Sierra Nevada games. In terms of you're going from point A to point B.
Yeah,
to point
it's an
B.
on rails adventure. It's like finish this level, you finish this level, get the cutscene, finish this level, get the cutscene, and it rolls very much like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of why like you go the inverse. Movies that get made into games, the Walking Dead Telltale game series, right, were so freaking good because it took another story within that world that's been created and told a just completely different story with different characters, and it works. It works that way, and I think you could do the same but the inverse and continue to tell video game stories without focusing on the video game. And that's where I would worry Minecraft's going to fail. Because it's going to be about the Ender Dragon, right? And it's going to be the focal point. And that's where it's going to fall down because, I'm in the game, I know like my kids love it and they love it. They'll have they'll plan it like 2 weeks in advance. Hey, we're going to go and we're going to start a new world and we're going to get to the Ender Dragon by X time on X day starting from scratch. They assign, hey, this is your job and that's your job. And we got like 3 days to get it done. And they go do it. But does that translate to an interesting movie focusing solely on that?
No way.
Rather than
there's one common theme with all these movies though that we haven't touched. And it's kind of a little bit of an X factor with Minecraft because you've got Jack Black in it. Jack Black really made Mario. Jack Black really made those Jumanji movies.
Yep.
So the dude is in his wheelhouse with this stuff, and people love Jack Black. And he can translate to like doing a kid movie thing so well. And he always gets the properties he's dealing with. He understands he, as the kids like to say, understands the assignment, So I think that there's that part too where if he hits it, it's going to be a success. If he doesn't, I'm
going to disagree with you on Jumanji, but I will give you the Jack Black factor into the R.L. Stein movies. What's it? Goosebumps, right?
Oh yeah,
those are Jack Black movies now.
Oh yeah, those two. Yeah, okay, that's a good one.
Jumanji, the 2 new Jumanji movies, I think you could have taken his characters out and said the same thing is really more appropriate for Chris Rock. Or Chris, what's it? The Rock and
Hart.
Chris Hart, thank you. Or
Kevin Hart. Yep.
And Chris Johnson, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, and Nebula.
Yeah, well, but those two really make the movie, and Jack Black's very tertiary.
Yeah, I didn't think he was a key. He's great, but I don't think he was a key in those films. At least the first one. I only saw the first one.
Yeah, he's very much in those movies. I think a bit player there, and you could take him out, and those movies will still be tons of fun because of Kevin Hart and The Rock. Right?
But here's the thing: is it safe? That's the thing. That's one of the things people were saying that. Oh well, first of all, the character that he plays, Steve, which is the main character of Minecraft, was really just a generic person. You're the one that brings life to that person. So now you're giving that person Jack Black's personality, his unkempt beard, which I'm sure Justin's right. He'll nail it. But is it? I don't know. Like some people
I'm not sure. I'm saying that it's an X factor, and that could be if he does. I don't want to predict he does because I don't know. I don't know enough about Minecraft, so I don't want to speak for any of you guys like that know more about it. Like I don't even know what an whatever your dragon thing was. Like I don't even know.
Ender Dragon? You've never fought the Ender Dragon?
No.
I've never fought that. I played maybe 20 minutes of Minecraft over the years. So
I've watched my kids play more Minecraft than I've ever played. Yeah. That's for sure. But it's always like in the background, I just hear the cats meowing, meow, meow, meow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like goats or lambs or whatever they are.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting cast. I thought I personally I didn't think anything of it. It was just all the negative press that it had gotten, and I was like, not necessarily press, but like a lot of people were reviewing it negatively, and I was like, I don't necessarily know it needed that, but
I will go watch the trailer. I will not go see the movie, no matter how good the trailer looks.
I
My
will be
my
interested
kids
to
are
hear.
like my youngest really doesn't. I don't think he cares enough. I don't think it'll be something that we'll go see.
Yeah, probably not.
He might see it with his friends. That I'm not going to go see.
I will
doubt I'll-
probably see it. I will probably see it.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, if this turns out to be like a Lego type movie and everybody needs to go see it, maybe I'll go see it too. I should never say never on that kind of thing. But
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
not.
truth.
I'm not the audience just because Minecraft's never been my thing.
Right, it's not your thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I also think that we owe it to kids to not just dangle keys in front of them. I think it's important to have movies that have that force you to think, and solve, try and figure out who the bad guy is, and I think there's more to it than just taking up 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. You gotta. I think.
I don't know, man.
Minecraft. So what's are you worried that that's all this is doing, Minecraft?
No, that was some of the critiques that I had read. Was like, oh, this is just going to be the playing to the lowest common denominator kind of thing. I don't know that that's the case, but
I think the question, right? So when we think about kids' movies from when we're growing up, you're thinking about, or I am thinking about the movies that impacted me and stayed with me and helped me grow up, right? Helped me deal with things going on in my life or things I saw going on in other people's lives, right? And Goonies, those kinds of movies, from Janet, it's The Labyrinth and all these other movies, they mentally stimulated, like you're saying, mentally stimulated and emotionally stimulated people to see other people learn, see other people get put in tough situations and learn to have empathy and learn to get past their fears and grow, and then you grew with them, right? And I think our kids have tons of things. Our kids had that, right? And our kids are all grown up or growing up real fast here. Does Minecraft fill that kind of gap, and what does if it doesn't?
Yeah, I don't think it has to. Like you said, like with the dangling keys, I think our kids have, and they have so much more great kid movies than we had.
Sure.
By the truckload. It is if we didn't have Spielberg and Lucas growing up, we would have been in some real serious trouble with a small handful of movies.
Yeah, or Donner, right? Or
yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, that was it. I mean, think about what our kids have between all the extra stuff that Lucas has done, Star Wars extra. You got then all the Harry Potter stuff. You've got all the Pixar stuff. You've got all the DreamWorks stuff. You've got, oh my gosh, there's so much that we didn't have. I mean, we had Rats and Nim, Yeah, Stranger Things is a great coming of age show, that kind of thing, and it scratches the horror itch, or just all the things, I always said, our generation, if anything, we knew the crap that people showed us, and we're like, you got to be kidding me, this is what you think it should be. And it's no, we aged up, and then this is how you make a superhero movie, this is how you make a sci-fi movie, this is how you make a kid movie, this is the stuff that we imagined the things that we watched would be, which so speaking of man, they're going to have a Legend of Zelda movie coming out in a couple years, and it's going to be live action. I don't know, that's the one that's the mystery to me, can they unlock that one?
I have zero interest in that too.
Oh, that I have nothing but extreme interest in, mind-blowing interest. It is if it craps down its pant leg, whatever, I just don't watch it.
In the princess and that whole it just like what's there to explore, right? It's just, or is it going to be? Is it retelling those stories? Is it going to be retelling those
I don't
stories?
know.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
you
know.
know that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, but I
right?
mean, it's not, I mean, the story isn't necessarily Save Zelda in those games,
Yeah.
Every single game is like different themed, different objectives,
But what
so
I'm saying is, like, you're not going to get a Fallout the TV series kind of story set within Zelda, right?
No,
you
it
could
will
though.
have
I think you
Zelda
could.
and Link.
Oh yeah, no, you're going to have the characters of Zelda and Link for sure. Like those will be in there for sure.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what it's going to do though. Like I just, it's one of those things in my mind, like when they announced that they're going to make Lord of the Rings. Like that's a great example. Lord of the Rings, like we had that crappy Hobbit movie as kids and that crappy Lord of the Rings cartoon growing up.
Yeah.
There's no way they're ever going to make a Lord of the Rings movie. And then Peter Jackson knocks it out of the park.
Yep.
So like
It's still
I feel like Legend of Zelda is the same way for me as when I thought like they're never going to make a Lord of the Rings. There's no way. Where they're never going to make an Avengers movie. There's no way. It's going to be so stupid. You would have told me that in 2005. The Avengers movie is going to be the dumbest movie ever.
Yeah,
because all we had was crap.
With the comparison between Legend of Zelda and the literature of Lord of the Rings, right? I'm struggling to find the comparison there.
I think Zelda's harder.
I think Zelda, yeah.
It's a tougher nut to crack because you got an actual story that was followed in Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
You needed the technology and somebody with the understanding of it and everything.
I think it's tougher because I just don't think it will make a good movie to retell the Legend of Zelda story. Right?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But
I'm so curious to see if they can pull it off. Like, I would love to see them pull it off. I would love to walk out of that movie theater going, that was amazing. I can't believe they pulled it off. That's what I want.
I played the original Zelda all the way through.
Yes.
I never got into any of the other Zelda games.
Really?
Yeah, even
Ocarina of Time was amazing.
Yeah, well, I never had a Nintendo. I had a Nintendo 64 for like a month, and I traded it. I just did not like the games.
PC gamer guy here. That's what his PC Master Race.
Well, yeah, I played the shit out of every Xbox I ever had. My PS1 and my PS2. But yeah, and I have a Switch, and I have hundreds of hours on it, but not on any Zelda games.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's the greatest video game franchise ever.
Oh, I don't know if I would go that far, man.
Yeah, I think I absolutely go that far.
Really?
Legends. Wow. I think that's an easy pick. I think it's a. I think it's a cheap pick. Yeah. I don't know. Like Game Informer. I mean, it's like it.
Yep. Yeah. That's true.
Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time are continually like top 10 greatest games ever made. Link to the Past usually number one.
That doesn't count. Game Informer doesn't count.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when you have these like massive 100.
Game Informer.
No list counts. No list counts. No. Like
Game Informer is just a GameStop.
They're done. They're done.
I liked Game Informer, but that's
Well, it's just
there were some really decent game journalists that actually worked for Game Informer for a while.
I'm sure.
But
I still think Half-Life 2 is the better game.
Well, I said franchise, and I think the amount of games that the franchise had. If Half-Life would ever get off its ass and make another game, maybe we can have that conversation.
Well, it won't happen.
I heard rumors. Again, it started coming out like 2 weeks ago. People started talking Half-Life 3.
I know when they're going to make a movie before they make the next game for that.
It would be cool. I would love to see that. Don't screw that as a movie. Make it a TV show.
Gabe's going to die. He's like
Minecraft. It's going to be Minecraft and Jumanji. It's going to be Gabe gets sucked into Half-Life.
No, it's the Game of Thrones of video games. It's like Martin's never going to finish the books. Gabe's never going to finish the games. Yeah, it's
that prop bet. Who's going to finish what's going to get released first? The next Game of Thrones or Half-Life 3?
Oh, I think without a doubt the Game of Thrones will be released before.
I don't
think so.
I don't think either. I'm going to do the pass line and say neither. And
writing, like, George R. R. Martin is writing so much for the Game of Thrones like books, but not the original series. He's writing everything else right now. So I don't know. I think
I don't
You
know.
can't blame him. He probably got bored.
You know what? None of these people owe me anything. It'd be nice if they did it, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, give me your blood and sweat, and I want it now. Take my money. Take my money.
I will send death threats to you.
I read this. I read the script for the third game. Bring that thing to my computer right now.
It was pretty incredibly cool. Yeah, maybe it'll happen someday. I don't know.
I think that they were overambitious and they just couldn't pull it off.
You know, and it's like the thing is, it's just like, okay, do I think there'll be more Game of Thrones books? Yes, because if Martin doesn't finish them and he, something happens to him, somebody will pick up the scraps and finish it off somehow, because it's what happens.
Everybody will hate it.
Eventually, Half-Life will probably come out. It could be 30 years from now, though. It could be.
It'll be a remake.
And they'll just
start
like
over.
They could. Yeah, I don't know.
Who's gonna do the rest of Game of Thrones? Like what author what author are you picking? Is it gonna be Brandon Sanderson?
No, I was gonna say Sanderson, yeah, because he finishes everybody's stuff.
Everything, right?
Yeah, why not?
That's hilarious. I like that we're on the same page with that too.
Yeah, Sanderson finishes everything, like Wheel of Time, all that other stuff for sure. All right. You guys got anything else to say?
No,
I'm good.
All right. Good talk, everybody. I hope everybody listening liked it. Like, subscribe, do all that other stuff. Pass it on. Give it to your grandma to listen to. Your grandmas are cool. They're cooler than you think, kids. Pass it on to your grandma. Have them listen to it. I'm going to cue the music. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.
See you next time.
All right. That'll work. That'll do, pig.